The blizzard of 2015 is finally beginning to wind down, but not before dropping several feet of snow and even shutting down some of the nation's largest cities across the East Coast. And it could be a couple of days before the snow is finally all cleared and airports and businesses are finally back on track.
Well, as we said, Boston was one of the hardest hit cities. More than 20 inches of snow fell there. And NBC's Chris Pallone rejoins us from there right now. And Chris, it looked like much of the snow was already plowed. Are things getting back to somewhat normal?
Yeah, it's going to be a little while, John and Andrea. Good to talk to you. It's going to be a little while before everything here gets back to normal. For example, we're still under a driving ban right now, so non-emergency personnel aren't even really allowed to leave their homes to drive around. The state police have actually given out some tickets to people who were out driving around. But here on Boston Common, we are seeing people start to come out, obviously suffering from some cabin fever. They're coming out and they're cross-country skiing, snowboarding, sledding, you name it, just to get out of the house for a little while.
Have there been any serious issues? We've heard police even had to get some of the doctors and nurses to the hospitals today that, of course, were still open.
Yeah, it's pretty dicey. I mean, the roads are really bad. We've walked around taking a look. We haven't done a ton of driving, but we did have to drive here from the hotel early this morning. And the roads are absolutely treacherous. You're talking 20 inches of snow. Some roads haven't been passed for a four-wheel drive vehicle. And there are people who just need to work, given around the clock, and they've got to get there somehow. So the government did step in certain places today and help out.
You have to get to work.
Yeah, we still work.
But it's not as bad as meteorologists warned.
In New York, it's not as bad as meteorologists warned. Here, they nailed the forecast dead on. They were saying 20 to 30 inches of snow. That's exactly what happened. Wind gusts of hurricane strength. That's what happened on Nantucket. The only thing that they might have thought would have been a little bit worse was some of the coastal damage and some of the power outages, because what happened was the temperature stayed relatively low and it made the snow very powdery as opposed to heavy and wet, which would have brought down more trees and power lines. At this point, we've got about 30,000 people without power in Massachusetts, but the governor says he's pretty happy with that number.
All right, thank you. Chris Pallone in Boston for us tonight.